Hello, my name is Betsy George. Today is June 11th, Tuesday, 2019. This is Tuesday, Thursday yoga class. That's it. No equipment for this class today. Does everybody agree to be filmed today for the use on My Virtual Y, as well as unlimited use of this video on the internet and receive no compensation for your appearance in this video? Yes. Yes? Great, let's get started. Let's begin in an easy seated pose this morning. And open the shoulder tips. Resting the palms over the knees. Breathing in and out the nose. Filling the lungs completely and exhaling completely. Making sure we're sitting right up over the sit bones, dropping the shoulders away from the neck. Softening the facial muscles and the neck and the hands. And inhale, reach the right arm and fold to the left side, draping the right arm overhead. Allowing gravity to do the work, folding at that left side rib cage. Inhale right up over the sit bones, opposite side, reach, left arm overhead. Exhaling completely so that the navel goes inward, opposite side. Back up to center, fingertips right up. Big lift. Ujjayi breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the center of the mouth. Allow that slight chuffing sound with the exhale. And release to a big twist, mid-back, keeping right up over the sit bones. Start to engage the sacral chakra right below the navel, pulling the tailbone toward the navel. Inhale, big reach up and unhinge the hips forward, up to the fingertips. Release the chin to the chest. And continue the deep breathing in and out the nose. Soften the jaw. Soften the gaze. Inhale up to cow pose. Lift back on left leg, parallel with the back. Use the strength of that sacral chakra below the navel. Lift, opposite arm. Find that pull and opposite pull between the fingertips and the toes. Press down to that forearm, find your balance. And reach up through the left arm, opening the leg, opening the arm. Keeping that lift through the sacral chakra. Breathing 5. Fueling your inner embers with the breath. inner strength. And exhale, pressing both palms down, back up to cow pose. Release back for a moment for modified balasana. Stretching back up through to cobra, breathing 3. Back up to cow pose. Aligning the knees, the palms, and press down with the left forearm. Reach up through the right arm, right leg. Extend. Really open up at the heart chakra, right below the sternum. About 3 more breaths. Using the inner muscles. And right back down. Inhale. Tuck the toes and press up to downward facing dog. Press the heels back, the crown forward, and drop the tail, coming out to plank pose. Strong like a board, lower down, chaturanga. Back up through to Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward facing dog, breathing 3 Ujjayi breaths. Keeping both hips, both toes squared forward, stepping forward with the right foot. Extend, reach the arms out to the side, balancing up on that back ball of the foot. And lift through the arms, drop the tail. Lift right up through the tail, extend both legs straight and fold at the waist and hip. Release the spine down the leg, 3 breaths. Fix the palms down through the floor, to the floor. Bring the knee up, the toe up, and lift up to a standing split. Once you get the foot up as furthest reach you can, drop that rooted heel. About 5 breaths. Feel that opposite pull between the palms and the sole of the right foot. Keep that lift through the hips. Big step forward with the right foot. Root the back leg down. We're in Warrior 1 or Virachandrasana. Lift. Open wide. Warrior 2. And right down to prayer pose. Extend the length of the spine outward so that the shoulder gets as far close to over the knee as you can reach. Keep that lift rather than resting on the leg. And ready, tailbone up, drop the right hand down, left arm up, extend. Tuck the tailbone in, strengthen the glued muscles, strengthen the sacral chakra, core strength. And just reach that hand behind the leg, bending both arms to bind the pose. Open the shoulder tips wide, 7 Ujjayi breaths. Ready? Third eye forward, shoulder tips forward, fingertips down, pivot on that back foot. Float the right leg back. Keep the tailbone down, lower down, chaturanga. Adho Mukha Svanasana, breathing 5 Ujjayi breaths. Keeping that low stance with the heels, big step forward up on the ball of the left foot is forward, up on the ball of the right foot. Inhale, lift. Finding that balance point, straighten the front leg and fold at the hip. Allowing gravity to help come more closely to the leg and extend the spine down the leg. Keeping that lift in the tailbone, the extension through the limbs. Inhale, lift the knee, float that toe up for a standing split. Root the palms, root that ball of the foot. Keep the hips up, third eye up. Big step forward into warrior one. Float out to warrior two. Hollow the torso, hollow the belly, tailbone toward the navel. Prayer pose, floating right up over the top of the leg. Wide foot base, open shoulder tips and heart. Ready. Left fingertip down, right one up. Extend and reach. Keep breathing. Keep that lift through the hips and the tail, very strong in the sacral chakra. Float the left hand through, bend the elbows, bind the pose, open wide, 7 Ujjayi breaths. And ready. Forward with the gaze, palms down, pivot on that back toe, tailbone down, float the left leg back, plank pose, chaturanga. And up through to downward facing dog, pressing the heels as close to the floor as you can. Bring the chin to the chest. Complete exhales. Notice where the hips are, keeping them tall. Big step forward, right foot. Big step forward, left foot. Come on up to, keeping the knees bent up to the tips of the fingers. Extend the spine here in this low squat position. Strengthen the glutes, sacral chakra, and float the palms up to chair pose or Uttanasana. As you reach the arms up, feel that extension through the torso. Keeping the length, float the palms to the heart, twisting. Inhale right back up with the palms up to chair pose. Breathing 3. Breathe into the heat of your muscles. And float the palms down. Wide shoulder tips, opposite side, twisting. Twisting poses are great to release tension, excessive worry, especially when you incorporate lots of breath within the pose. Inhale for a low squat down, elbows gentle, prayer pose in center. And pop up to Uttanasana, fingertips down. Lengthen the spine. And place the legs as if there's a wall behind them. Feel that extension from the hip bones all the way through the crown. Increasing the length of your spine using your inner muscles. Keep that length, unhook the knees and float up to Tadasana or mountain pose. Feet firmly under the hips, shoulders over the hips. And inhale, sun salutation, big reach up, exhale back. Inhale, lift to swan dive. Uttasana, long gaze forward. On the exhale, unhinge the hips, touching the backs of the ankles, big swooping up again. Sun salutations at your own pace. About 3 more. Increasing the speed and slow down the last rotation. And we'll meet with our fingertips up, palms wide, soften the jaw, space between the teeth for breath. Engage that core strength at the sacral chakra, the glute muscles, slightly hollow that whole torso. And keep the length, let's float. The right knee up, palms up. Finding that balance point through the left foot and leg. There's a little lift to the glutes and the hips. Reach the right arm on the inside. Engage the foot, the toe for big toe stance. Both lift the crown. Press the sole of the foot forward. Unhinge that hip, open. Lots of breath. Forward. Very deliberately out of the pose, back to mountain pose. Inhale, swoop up the arms. Back to the heart. And again, reach, center, float that left leg up, arms reaching. Have a little lift through the hips as you do. Connect with the toe, left hand to the left side. Before you open up the pose, reach up through the crown, sole of the foot. Knee in. Exhale the palms down, palms open wide. Soften the neck, soften the jaw, the facial muscles. In our practice, we want to engage only the muscles, the chakras that we need to, and relax everything else. It can be different in each pose. With this pose especially, relax the face, the temples, the neck, keeping the shoulders downward, soft. Let's open up on the right hip. We can do tree pose or some other form of tree. So tree can be here, wherever you can lift the leg up most while keeping that openness, or modified tree would be inward, pressing the heel in. Let's breathe about 30 breaths in some form of tree. You can go wherever you want with the arms. For more challenge, maybe you want to balance that foot in Exhale, forward bend with the arms supporting. Maybe even bend that knee a little bit to facilitate the pose. Keep the tailbone up, balance on the ball of the foot. If you're in the modification, press the fingertips down, come back to a standing position, and we'll all meet up in Tadasana. Exhale, palms at the heart, shoulder tips wide, just the fingertips together. Slightly modified prayer pose. Just connect with the depth of your breath, the completion of your exhales. Connecting with pranayama or breath of the universe. Keeping the shoulder tips open, the crown up, open on the left side. And when you're ready, find that furthest reach out up on the ball of the foot, shoulder tips squared, and come up into some form of tree pose. If you're doing the modification, go on up. If you're up in tree, go anywhere you like with the arms, even a bind behind the arm or behind the back, arms bent. Take about 5 more breaths. And finishing in Tadasana. Completely releasing any tension in the jaw, the shoulders, the chest. Soften, keeping the torso firm, tailbone toward the navel, navel toward the tail. Keeping the form, and then soften the belly, the torso, the organs. Let's take our breath into the throat chakra, also the thyroid area. Flowing our breath throughout our whole hormonal endocrine system. Shoulder tips wide, right arm up, fold at the left side, rib cage, open back, bend the elbows, bind the pose, keep folding, keep stretching with gravity. Come up to center, keeping hold of the fingertips or rooting the hands on the back, wherever you are in the pose. Ready, forward bend, flat back. Keep open with the elbows. Keeping hold, lifting right back up. And exhale, release, big twist. Connecting with root chakra on these poses. that floating space between the legs, right where the body connects to the legs. Inhale, big reach up. Exhale, open and fold to that right side rib cage. Left arm draping over. Open the palms, the shoulders, bind the pose. Inhale, straight up. Exhale, fold forward. And right back up to center. Releasing the arms. Let's bring the feet close together. Bend the knees slightly. Extension through that lower torso, lower back, but drop the tail. Soften the jawline, the shoulders. Widen the foot base. And come up to the balls of the feet, slightly bent knees, modified chair pose. Keep that length in the torso and the back, and just bend the elbows. Present mind. And prayer pose at heart chakra. Drop the heels, palms down, open wide, lift through the arms. Lengthen that torso again, right through the center. Aligning all the chakras. Root chakra, rootedness to the ground, the earth, our ideals. Sacral chakra, our inner strength. Gut feelings, aligning up the solar plexus, the emotional center, the heart chakra below the sternum, or heart brain, compassion center, throat chakra, our voice, connecting with the flow of our whole system. Third eye, center of the forehead, our planning mind, and crown chakra, connectedness to universe, to God, however you see it. Exhale, straighten the legs and come into a very tall Tadasana. Keeping that length and that strength, come into easy seated pose. Palms open, right over the knees. Body sitting upright over the sit bones, as if there's a wall behind the back. Allow a softness to the elbows and the jaw. Lift to the crown and the third eye. Present mind. Keeping that upright pose, especially up over the hips, hollow the belly. Take whatever leg is in front. Lift. Bottom part of the leg as parallel as you can. Unhinge that hip and cross. Open. Ujjayi breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the center of the mouth, sides of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. About 3 more breaths. Keep that openness through the shoulders. Keep a hold of that leg. Just bring the opposite arm over. Bend the knee back in. Pull the heel as closely in as you can. Clasp the big toe and open up for a balance. Opposite arm, pulling in opposite direction. Big lift, no pose stationary in yoga. Inhale into bound angle. Exhale with a straight back, unhinge the hips. Inhale right back up to center, squaring the crown chakra right between the sit bones. Big lift. Soften the face, the neck. Bring the opposite leg in front. Hold. Cross. Twist at that low back. Through the leg. It's a great pose to release any sciatica problems. Bring the knee in, clasp the big toe, keeping the hip open, straddle. That length in the spine, the lift of the crown, come into bound angle. Exhale, unhinge the hips. In this forward bending bound angle, allow gravity to do the work. Bring the chin to the chest. Space between the teeth for breath. Engage the toes, open the toes wide, clasp the big toes, balance up on the sit bones, straddle. Ready? Let's float up to boat pose. About 7 breaths. Ready? With length in the limbs, roll up over the sit bones and come up to staff pose. As if a wall is behind the back, arms close to the ears, fingertips touching. Hollow that whole torso. Lengthen the neck, bring the crown up. Soften the shoulders off the neck. Just connect. Let's bring the palms to the tops of the legs. Just connect with this unhinging of the hips, keeping the back flat, and come to a forward bending staff pose. Complete exhales, maybe Ujjayi breath. We're going to do a portion of Tibetan right with 7 rotations. Wind the arms back. Reverse plank. Exhale, roll off the heels. Unhinge forward. Quicken each one. Slow the last 2. After you've completed your set, bend the knees, lift the back up, and rest up over the knees. Soften the neck. Level the crown with the ceiling. Soften the jaw and just twist the neck as far up as you can. So let the twist be more up close to the skull. And center forward. Bring the chin down to the chest with length in the spine. Usha, breath 3. Releasing tension, any tightness in the back, the spine. Releasing any tension in the organs of the torso. And bring the knees together, giving yourself a warm embrace, gentle rest. Right up over the sit bones, twisting to the right, all the way around opposite. Let's lengthen the legs out and go into side planks. Slight bend of the knees, lift up, extend. To come out of the pose, soften the knees down to the hip and opposite side. With each rotation, find the furthest reach, creating that angle. Hollow the whole torso, tailbone toward the navel. Keep going. Exhale, cross the ankles, lift right up over the sit bones, soften the neck. Again, knowing where to engage and where to relax the body. Exhale, the right arm to the side, resting the head as if you're laying on a beam, straightening, finding the alignment of the whole side of the body. Reach that left arm overhead, palms in. Take a moment to sort of float up on the upper leg and the hip. And prop the head up. Open the left hip. Bring the ball of the foot in front of the leg. Gentle engagement of the sacral chakra and the glute muscles. Softening the face, the neck, and keep the hip open, extend, straightening left leg for reclining shaman. Just breathing about 5 to 7 more breaths. Reverse out of the pose, ball the foot, big extension overhead. Soften that leg. Length between the tailbone and the crown. Complete exhales. And as efficiently as possible, twist to the opposite side. As if you're on a beam. Arms overhead. Find that length in the neck. Release the right arm, prop the head up. Bring the ball of the foot in front of the leg, opening up on the hip. opening up that knee, using the glued muscles and the hip to open that groin area. Exhale, come up to reclining shaman. Synchronizing everything in your body. About 5 to 7 more breaths. Keep the kneecap up. And to come out of the pose, reverse it. Down. Hold for a moment with that ball of the foot up. And transition to right hand down. Pivot up to a standing split. Keep the tailbone up. Come down to a downward facing dog, both feet closely together. Unhook the right knee and float that toe up to a standing split. Release the neck and the jaw. Keep the tailbone up. Float both feet together to a very tall Adho Mukha Sthana or downward dog. Allow the neck to release. Sorry about that. Keeping the hips up. And let's come down into hero pose. If you have problems with the knees bending that much, bring them to the side. Any modification just to keep the back upright is the aim for this pose. Palms up, thumbs together, soften the neck. Exhale, fold forward into child's pose or balasana, resting the arms along the sides of the legs, draping the shoulders. Soften every muscle around all of the vertebrae. Softly bring the palms under the shoulders and come down to the belly. Really allow those shoulder tips to soften down. Lots of length and mobility in the back. Lift up, reach back through the arms. Pull back on the shoulder tips. Lift up on the third eye, bend the knees, reverse wheel. A few more breaths. With length, completely release. Palms gentle. Turn the head to one side. Completely soften the shoulders. Turn head opposite side. And let's roll to the back into Savasana or resting pose, sealing in the benefits of our practice. Exhale, palms up on the sides. Release the feet off of the heels. Completely soften the chest, the jaw, space between the eyebrows and the gaze, even if the eyes are closed. Automatic breath and present mind. Let's wake up our toes and fingers. Gently roll to the right side in prenatal position, completely relaxing, releasing. Take a breath into the heart chakra right below the sternum, tapping into our deep inner joy. When you're ready, come on up to an easy seated pose. The light in me sees the light in you, or Namaste.